China's transformation is one of the most dramatic economic turnarounds in human history. Today, China is the world's second-largest economy, a global manufacturing center, a technology competitor, and a decisive force in international politics. But this rise wasn't inevitable. It was deliberate, strategic, and shaped by both historical struggle and bold policy experimentation. This journey reveals how a country once defined by poverty, political turmoil, and isolation became a central pillar of the global economy, and what may come next. Before understanding China's meteoric rise, it's crucial to look at where it began. Throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries, China endured what its historians called a century of humiliation. Foreign invasions, territorial losses, internal rebellions, weak governance, and widespread poverty shaped the nation's reality. By 1949, when the Communist Party took control, China was overwhelmingly rural. Industrial output was low, literacy was poor, infrastructure was underdeveloped, and life expectancy hovered around 40 years. The country was unified politically, but economically fragile. Under Mao Zedong from 1949 to 1976, China adopted a centrally planned economy modeled after the Soviet Union. Land and major industries were nationalized, farming became collective, and production was guided by state planning rather than market demand. Some policies delivered progress, literacy improved, healthcare access expanded, major infrastructure projects were launched, and China achieved territorial cohesion. But the failures were severe and tragic. The Great Leap Forward between 1958 and 1962 aimed to accelerate industrial growth, but resulted in one of the deadliest famines in human history. Later, the Cultural Revolution disrupted schools, factories, and institutions nationwide. By the mid-1970s, China was politically stable but economically stagnant, with little productivity growth and minimal global engagement. Everything changed in 1978 under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping. In what became known as reform and opening up, China embraced market forces while maintaining political control. The strategy was simple but profound. Let the market create prosperity, and let the state shape direction. One of the earliest and most important reforms was in agriculture. The household responsibility system replaced collective farming, allowing rural families to keep profit after meeting state quotas. Food production surged, and rural incomes rose dramatically. China also launched special economic zones, places like Shenzhen, where foreign investors were welcomed, taxes were lower, and market rules were more flexible. What was once a fishing town transformed into a global factory in just decades. But China's reforms were never rushed. Unlike the rapid shock therapy model used by Russia in the 1990s, China moved gradually. State control remained in key sectors, while the market expanded step by step. Successful experiments in coastal regions were replicated nationwide, reducing social instability and allowing the country to learn from mistakes. China's integration into global markets accelerated throughout the 1990s, culminating with its accession to the World Trade Organization in 2001. This moment formally tied China into the global economy and triggered explosive growth. Over the next 2 decades, China became the manufacturing engine of the world. China's economic system today is often misunderstood. It is neither pure capitalism nor pure socialism, but a hybrid model described as a socialist market economy. Markets set most prices and private businesses thrive, yet the state maintains heavy influence over strategic sectors: energy, finance, telecommunications, transportation, defense, and heavy industry. The Communist Party sits at the center of the system, guiding long-term strategy, approving major appointments, and ensuring political stability. 5-year plans act as broad roadmaps, steering industrial policy, infrastructure investment, technological goals, and environmental targets. A less obvious but critical driver of China's growth is its system of competitive decentralization. Local governments compete fiercely to attract investment, build infrastructure, and raise GDP. This built-in rivalry fuels innovation, policy experimentation, and rapid development. Yet it also creates imbalances and debt risks, issues that are becoming more visible today. China's rise rested on several major strategies. First was export-led growth. China became the factory of the world by offering low-cost labor, strong logistics, tax incentives, and massive industrial clusters that attracted companies like Apple, Samsung, and Toyota. This manufacturing boom lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty and created a middle class on a scale unseen in history. Infrastructure was another pillar. China built world-class high-speed rail networks, ports, airports, and power systems that supported both internal mobility and global trade. Education and human capital development also played crucial roles. China poured resources into basic education, engineering programs, scientific research, and universities. Today, it produces more STEM graduates annually than any other country. Technology and industrial policy became central in the 21st century. Initiatives such as Made in China 2025 pushed the nation to move beyond low-end manufacturing into robotics, electric vehicles, renewable energy, semiconductors, and artificial intelligence. Companies like Huawei, BYD, CTL, Tencent, and Alibaba symbolize this shift from imitation to innovation. Numerous factors supported China's economic momentum. For decades, the country benefited from a large working-age population and massive rural-to-urban migration. Households and businesses saved a significant share of income, giving the government resources to invest in infrastructure and industry. Integration into global supply chains made China essential to electronics, textiles, machinery, renewable energy, and automotive production. Strong state capacity enabled rapid mobilization of capital, long-term planning, and coordinated industrial strategy. Urbanization created large consumer markets and improved productivity. On top of this, China maintained macroeconomic stability with managed inflation, large foreign exchange reserves, and a stable currency policy. But the story of China's rise is incomplete without acknowledging the challenges it faces today. The most severe is demographic decline. China's population is shrinking for the first time in decades. Low birth rates, aging citizens, and a shrinking workforce threaten future growth. The demographic dividend that once powered the economy is gone. Debt poses another major risk. Local governments relied heavily on land sales and borrowing through financing vehicles to fund development. This created excess construction, ghost cities, and high leverage. The property sector, which once made up as much as 25 to 30% of GDP, is undergoing a painful correction, with major developers defaulting and home sales weakening. Productivity growth is slowing. China can no longer rely solely on low-cost labor and investment to grow. Competition with the United States adds pressure, especially in advanced technologies like semiconductors and AI. Export restrictions, investment scrutiny, and geopolitical tensions complicate long-term planning. Environmental challenges, from pollution to carbon emissions, continue to strain resources despite improvements. Tighter regulations on technology firms, private education, and real estate in recent years also shook business confidence. Despite these challenges, China is not standing still. The country is attempting a transition from investment-driven growth to consumption-led growth. Policies now encourage higher wages, stronger social safety nets, and rural revitalization to boost domestic demand. China is doubling down on high-tech self-reliance, investing heavily in semiconductors, renewable energy, aerospace, electric vehicles, and artificial intelligence. This aligns with its dual circulation strategy, which aims to strengthen domestic innovation while remaining engaged in global trade. Environmental reforms are also accelerating. China is the world's largest investor in renewable energy and aims for carbon neutrality by 2060. Efforts to stabilize the property sector include curbing debt, regulating shadow banking, and improving financial oversight. To maintain social stability, policies under the banner of common prosperity seek to reduce inequality, expand opportunities, and address rising living costs. China's rise is one of the most remarkable economic stories in history. In just 4 decades, it evolved from isolation to global leadership, from an agrarian society to a manufacturing powerhouse, from basic production to cutting-edge innovation. Its success reflects a unique blend of strategic reform, state capacity, global integration, infrastructure investment, and commitment to education and technology. But China now stands at a critical crossroads. Can it move from investment-driven growth to innovation-driven prosperity? Can it manage debt, demographic challenges, and geopolitical tensions while sustaining development? Can it continue improving the lives of its citizens while navigating global uncertainty? These questions will shape the future, not only of China, but of the global economy. Before we wrap up, here are some questions to think about. Do you believe China can successfully transition from manufacturing-led growth to innovation-led growth? How will U.S. China competition shape global economic trends in the coming decades? Which challenge, demographics, debt, geopolitics, or slowing productivity, poses the biggest threat to China's trajectory? Can China's hybrid economic system remain sustainable in a more complex global environment? And finally, what can other developing countries learn from China's rise? Let's discuss in the comments.